And welcome back. This is your man, Warrior, and that is right. We are doing another patron roster review. Now, this is PotterHead76 from Frozen in Carbonite. He is a Dolphin, been playing for 2 years. Now, you're probably wondering, what is Warrior doing a roster review for? I thought he quit the game, and that is right. But just because somebody retires from something doesn't mean that their ability to know stuff goes away. When people retire from football, they become announcers because they know stuff. So I am still working with my patrons on the game. I still have multiple roster reviews to do. Obviously, I have many more roster reviews, so I'm going to be working with him. He wants to know about Grand Arena Championships, ships and territory battles, kind of the overview. So we're going to go into that. The first thing we're going to talk about is ships, because he's doing really well in ships. He's got a pretty good handle on that, but he wants to know a little bit more about what he should be kind of moving towards. So honestly, when we're going into ships, what the next focus Potterhead should be is Galactic Republic. That's right. Fives, Anakin, Rex, Plo Koon, Clone Sergeant, Y-Wing. Your Ahsoka Tano's pretty much done, but Anakin, you've got, obviously to get the stars up. Umbaran, you've got both gear for the character and stars for the ship, plus ship abilities. The Y-Wing needs everything. And then you've got Plo Koon and Clone Sergeant ship abilities, as well as the character's gearing. And then, of course, you've got little old Rex down there. You still have to finish starring the ship up. But Galactic Republic is going to be one of the many viable options. They said, the developer said that their goal was to make multiple viable teams, so that way you didn't have to have just one meta, but many metas. That means that Separatists and the Galactic Republic could both be viable at the same time. That means that you could have either one of them, that you don't have to have one or the other. And so the good news with that is that it should be that you could have one or both. That it sounds like the Separatists are going to be more offensive in nature and the Galactic Republic are going to be more defensive in nature. Now, two birds, one stone. The Galactic Republic characters are going to be exceptional characters because of the 501st and the Galactic Republic characters to get General Anakin Skywalker. And so you're going to need the characters anyway, so you might as well get the ships, and it provides a really good defensive squad. So this is really the route that I would go. It's what I went with in my Scissorman account. It was the direction I was going with there. And in my main account, it's the direction I went with right before retirement. So this is the route I would go with ships, okay? So that's kind of where we would go with ships. Let's now move over into characters. Now, because you're a Dolphin, I am going to go ahead and focus on about 14 characters you should focus on. Looking at your squad, though, you've done a really solid job going through and really getting up your or just all the characters who you have chosen to relic and all the characters that you focused on. But let's move into Sith Empire. That's right. Sith Empire needs to be kind of finished off. They're still one of the best teams in the entire game. And HK, of course, Malak, because you're Malak ready when you get Malak, and Sith Marauder. That's right. Darth Revan, Bastila Shan, HK, Sith Marauder, and Malak are still one of the best teams in the entire game. They're great on offense and defense. And again, one of the top 3 teams in the game. So Malak, you're ready for. So when he comes back, you're going to get him. He's coming back in February. And so when you get him, you're going to make him your hyper-focused number 1, right? But HK47 is definitely one you're going to want to finish off. You're only a few pieces away to get him to relics, and then once you get him to relics, take him to relic tier 5. I'd take Darth Revan to 5 and Bastila Shan to 5. 5 is a really good staging point and is only a couple more pieces away in relics. Relic from tier 3 to 5 only takes a little bit more of the Cantina energy, and there you go. And then Sith Marauder, I personally, just on my Scissorman account, hyper-focused on him, took him to gear 12, almost relic tier to gear 13 in relics. And it took me a solid, probably, maybe 2 months to get him to, gear 12, gear 13. So if you start really focusing on him, you should be able to bust that out in the next, 5 to 8 weeks. Not too shabby. So I would definitely put him in your favorites and work on him. But those 3 are really, really important because, like I said, top 3 teams, Sith Empire all the way, Malak, Marauder, and HK. Now let's move into another team that's definitely a top 3 contender. Well, not so much a team as a faction, top 3 faction, and that is actually Separatists. And there's a ton in Separatists you need to focus on. So the first thing, and the good news is, there's a lot of differing things in Separatists you need to work on, from low gear, high gear, gear 13, and relics. And so they're kind of different. And so because they're kind of different, you should be able to focus on different things at the exact same time. First is General Grievous and the B1 Battle Droid. You definitely want to take them both to Relic Tier 5 minimum. Now, I know past 5 is difficult, so take them to 5 because that material should be doable for you. Both of them you're going to want for the damage output, especially when you start going for General Anakin Skywalker. Count Dooku and Asajj Ventress you'll want to take to Relic at least into Gear 13, Relic Tier 3 as a staging point. You could consider Magna Guard higher, but you don't have to. Now, Droideka I would take to Gear 13, and I would definitely put a Zeta on him, and then Newt Gunray should definitely become geared. Now, he's only Gear 8, so the good news is that's lower level gear, and that lower level gear should not compete with the gear that you need to take Droideka, Asajj, and Count Dooku to Gear 13. But Separatists are super important for General Anakin Skywalker, and you said territory battles. The Geonosian territory battles, you're going to need the Droideka, and Asajj Ventress and Count Dooku are prerequisites for a multiple team battles plus Newt Gunray. So, and then of course your Geonosians are just amazing cats all the way around. They're really great in ships, plus they're needed in the territory battles. So really, there isn't any Separatists that you can't not invest in, so to speak. But the most important for relics right now are General Grievous and Battle Droid. B1 Battle Droid take to Relic Tier 5. Count Dooku, Droideka, and Asajj to at least into the Gear 13 Relic 3. Droideka drop a Zeta on, and then Newt Gunray, get him up into Gear 12 minimum for now, and a leadership Zeta on him. Once you get that taken care of in Separatists, you can then move over and focus on kind of the other half of this team for General Anakin Skywalker, and that's Galactic Republic. Now, most of your Galactic Republic looks phenomenal, and you'll be good with this, but the rest of it comes by way of Shaak Ti, which she's at the bottom middle. Shaak Ti's at 5 stars, Gear 8, so you're going to want to focus on her, plus the 501st. You've got Rex and Echo there in the middle, and on the bottom, you've got 5s and ARC Trooper. That's right, you're going to definitely want to finish that team out of those 5, both just for that whole team because they're a phenomenal defensive team, but eventually at the end, after you get your, HK, Marauder, and Malik up, plus once you get your Separatists up, you're going to want to be able to run these 501st with your General Anakin Skywalker. So again, your next priorities should be to get your Malik plus his team, and then move eventually into getting your General Anakin Skywalker, which is going to be Separatists / the General Anakin Skywalker teams out of Galactic Republic. Once you get those, you will have then fulfilled the teams up to this point that are relevant. Now, it's January 15th when I'm filming this, and up to this point, there's been nothing introduced to the game that is more relevant than General Anakin Skywalker and Malik. Now, they may bring more things into the game, but you're a Dolphin, and at this point, this is what we know, and this is what you're closest to getting and garnering. So even if they bring something newer into the game, such as the newer characters that they might potentially produce, I would still stay down these tracks because you're so close. So Shaak Ti 501st, but not until you get the rest of your Sith Empire figured out, and then get your Separatists also figured out. So Potterhead, you're doing really well. Shout out again to Frozen in Carbonite. I know you're having fun in Arena with the team you're having, but once you get Malik and the rest of your team with HK and Marauder, and if you can get them into relics, I can tell you the only team that's going to beat you really once you get it modded correctly is really going to be a General Grievous, bomb squad possibly, and there's not too many of those in most arenas, or, maybe a gas team, and there shouldn't be too many of those in your arena right now as well. So switching over next to a really nice Malik team would really do you good. That would be pretty awesome. And then for ships, you're doing really great. I would just swap out your, because you're using a rebel ship, he calls assists with a rebel. I would definitely put another rebel ship in your initial front three, and I would put Akbar in your front three. And the reason for that is you only get the cleanse from Han's Millennium Falcon if you have Akbar as your ship. So you have to have Akbar as your capital ship and another rebel ship. And I know Akbar might be lower, and I know another rebel ship might be lower, but you will get a billion times more usage out of your fleet and do a ton more out of your fleet if you have Akbar, even if he's lower, and have another rebel ship in your initial starting lineup. Again, even if they're lower and worse than those two ships, for the what you have, Thrawn and crew, it's just trashing your potential with having your Han's Millennium Falcon, because you're not getting the assists and you're not getting the cleanse on the basic, that you're not getting what you can out of your Han's Millennium Falcon that you should be getting. And then as far as your main arena, it's an amazing team, a really great team, but just know that as soon as you get your Sith Empire up and running, that would really be a better team, because it can chew and destroy the team that you're currently running really, really well. And then again, move over to Separatists, run through that, and then get your, the rest of your Galactic Republic, like your Shock T and 501st, and you'll do just fine. As always, if you have any ideas or comments, leave them down below, and keep your gaming on. Warrior out.